and I wanted to celebrate the occasion and be all excited about it. And my software locked up, my computer locked up, and I had to reboot. Which, alright, not a big deal, right? Well, this rig that I'm using is old enough that it takes about 15, in this case about 20 minutes just to reboot. Hi everybody, welcome to Chain Reaction Studios livestream. My name is Jeff Perryman. I am the artist in residence, so to speak. And I was hoping to do a little 3D modeling today, but as you can see, I was a little delayed. And it's going to take me a moment to open everything up, so if you can bear with me, we'll do that. I'm going to babble for a moment while I hope my software loads and allows me to enjoy my day with you guys. We started a little behind, not by much, just a couple of minutes, but it was enough to be frustrating. But here we are on this glorious January day. It's what, 61 degrees outside here, which by Arizona standards is a bit brisk. But for me, growing up in the northeastern corner of Oklahoma, it's really nice and I enjoy this weather. This is actually the time of year that I enjoy the most and I feel the most active in. I feel the most comfortable in. So I don't think 61 is chilly. In fact, that's my normal operating temperature. Well, we're about 2 minutes in. We're just waiting for some software to load. And I thought today, since people enjoyed me modeling the shield, I would model a couple extra weapons. The shield we cheated in that I had it kind of started. So I'm going to open up that file that we worked on with the shield. Should point out some things I've changed. And then I'm going to start from scratch making daggers. I think we'll do some daggers for battle badges, which by the way, for those of you who are interested, you can go to the Facebook page, Battle Badges. Go ahead and follow. And when the game goes live in May, we will get you all the information for tournaments and events that we'll be doing. It will be at Phoenix Fan Fusion Comic-Con in Phoenix. And it'll be at the Phoenix Convention Center this year, as it has been in years past. Come out and see my booth, and you can get yourself a copy of Battle Badges and get started in the tournament. Now, Battle Badges is very exciting, and I'm very excited to have it be published, and for all of you to be able to get your little hands on it and start battling each other. It won't be the focus. We have other game that is much more exciting, which I think is Scuttled. Much more interesting to see how people react to both games. But I think Scuttled is by far going to be a lot more entertaining. That doesn't mean Battle Badges isn't a lot of fun. Getting out there and grouping up with your friends and battling your other friends or newly made friends is a good time, and then coming across one of the monsters that may be roaming the halls of the convention center and ganging up on that monster to see if you can defeat them. That's going to be a lot of fun, and that'll be what the tournament is about. But as you can see, oops, other side. As you can see, May 27th through 29th is Phoenix Fan Fusion, and I hope to see all of you there. My software is now open. I actually have somebody watching me. Good grief, this has been a morning. I hope you're all well. Hopefully you can all hear me. I hear you breathing out there. See, right? Oops. Right there. One person. One. And that's all I need. Makes me happy. I'm going to flip over here to my 3D software. And before, if you remember, we worked on a shield design to replace this square shield right here. It's a good shield, and I'm not throwing it away by any stretch of the imagination. It needs a little more love. I just think that this will read a little bit better, looks the part a little bit more, and will probably be a little easier to produce. Now, we had a round shield, and I thought it was boring, and when I printed it up, it had really soft details, spikes. It just didn't work for me. But I didn't want just a round shield, so futzing around a little bit this morning while I was thinking about what I wanted to do here, I just grabbed this, this used to be round, and I just grabbed the vertices to make up this side and pulled it out into this shape. And I think that's a little more interesting, and for the ice fighter. So Battle Badges has different classes, but to start with, everyone's a fighter. And you have a sword, and you have a shield. And I wanted to make the sword and shield of each class interesting. So here's our nature, who has a very typical design for their sword and shields. And of course, we're working on fire, which I love this very angular design, and it fits the shield, fits the sword a little better. And then for the ice, nice curves here and there. And then I thought the shield, this is better. This is more fitting to me. And I think it'll be easier to, because those round icons are a little hard to grab when they're on your badge. So this at least gives you a little something to work with. So that's what we're going to do today. Is one of the classes is a rogue. Surprise, surprise. For those of you who know me, you know I play rogues. I like playing the rogues. I've played rogues in D&D. I play a rogue in WoW. That's just kind of my go-to character class because I like sneaking around. I like being able to climb things and get up high when other characters can't, and acquiring things that may or may not be in my pockets. That's what a rogue does. Hello, everybody. I see we now have count them, two people viewing this live feed. Sorry I ran a little behind. We had some seriously technical difficulties. I even have a button for that. It says, please stand by. Ta-da! It even cuts the mic. Good morning, good morning. You're supposed to be working over at a coworker's place. What are you doing playing hooky watching me? So here we are. We're going to make, I think, a brand new weapon. It's going to be a little bit smaller than these. So let me grab everything here. Yes, you're playing hooky. I'm going to grab this here. I'm going to display. I'm going to hide unselected, which will get rid of everything but that puck. Now this puck is about the size of the magnets that I'm using, and it's a little bit bigger. And the daggers are not going to be able to use this puck, but fortunately for me, I can make, I can order smaller magnets, which is what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this puck for the moment, and I'm going to say, okay, there's a copy. I'm going to change its color just to keep me from being confused, because I'm easily confused. Anybody knows me. And I'm going to make it a silly color. We'll make it that. That did not change the color at all. Why did you not? We are only seeing you. Show the other screen. Well, good call there. There, how's that? So, I'm going to turn this a color. We're going to say okay. And I'm going to take this one. I'm going to hide this one. And then I'm going to put this in the center by using my modifiers, which of course you don't see because the way I'm using OBS, Streamlabs OBS, I believe is what it's called. Perfect! Yay! And if for whatever reason, see, I've got a little menu up right here, which I'm moving, but you only see my cursor. But with this menu up that you can't see, I can move everything back into the center of the universe. So these black lines are the center, where they intersect. This is called 0, 0, 0. And then coordinate system will do either a positive or a negative in X, and the same in Y, and of course over here in Z. And as we stream out, we can see this gridded area showing different degrees. But where these black lines cross, this is the center of the universe. And all good modelers work at 0, 0, 0. Or things get weird. Or at least unmanageable. So anyway, we have a new puck. And I am going to modify this cylinder, which is all it is. Right now I have it at a radius of 2 millimeters by roughly, 4 millimeters by roughly 2 millimeters tall. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink this down to 2. I'm not really worried about the height. I just need something to indent. Good morning! How are you doing? Are you still hanging out in that hospital room? Amy Schaefer, by the way, has joined us. She has had a not so good week. She has not been feeling well. So I'm hoping that we find her in better health. And I'm very excited that you're here watching me do something that is pretty much the equivalent of watching paint dry. But I'm going to be working in some 3D Studio. I'm going to go ahead and have this to 1.5 millimeters tall, just to keep things there. I'm so sorry you're still there. Well, hopefully I can keep you company for at least an hour-ish or so. We're about 15 minutes in. And I'm setting up a scene. So I'm working in 3D Studio Max, and I'm making objects for the game Battle Badges. So I want to make a dagger. I have no idea what I want this dagger to look like. So that's always a great place to start, right? I don't know what I'm doing. Let's do it. That's never stopped me before. So now that I've got this reference for a magnet, and it may or may not be the right size, I'll get some measurements later and make adjustments. But for now, this will suit our purposes. So I'm going to freeze this piece so that I can't accidentally manipulate it, move it, or do bad things with it. And now I can actually start working. I want to make a little dagger. Well, I'm going to start with a primitive. This primitive will be a box. I know my dagger should probably be about the size of, maybe just a little over the size of one of these little squares. So I'm going to make a box. Don't want it a full size. Probably there and there. Just kind of play around with it. I'm going to move this to 0, 0. So 0, pink, 0, and of course it's already at 0. Because the way I made it from the top view, and so it's going to plant it firmly at 0Z for me. For those of you who are keeping score and interested in such things. Alright, is my hand on straight? Nope, it's never on straight. There we go. All art's done with flying monkeys, just so you know. And I don't like this color, so color's important to me when I'm making things. I don't know why. Alrighty, so I need to be able to do odds and ends with this. So we're going to divide this box up a little bit. I don't think I need an up and down just yet. I can divide that later as I see necessary. And I can divide this as many times as I see fit. And I think that's probably a really good start. So we're going to go ahead and add a modifier in here called Edit Poly. I'm going to go to the vertices, and since it's a dagger, I know it needs to be, gotta have a point, right? And I know that this will probably be my hilt, so we're going to drag this over to here, and then I think we're going to have some fun. It's already looking more blade-like, but not quite where I need it. I need it to be interesting. And a little exaggerated, because we are 3D printing these and everything needs to be just a little exaggerated. So, I mean, that's a pretty good start. Let's go ahead and grab this. We're going to play around with these vertices. And I knew how many times to divide the box, and and get to this point just out of experience. I know that I'm going to end up taking this and doing things so that it has a little more of a bevel on it and edge, but for the moment I don't need that. I really want these daggers to be small but not too small. So there's that circle underneath. I know that at some point I need to put a hole in. I think here in this part of the blade, that'll be a good place to put a hole in the bottom for a magnet. We know it's tall enough because we can see the height of the magnet here, but until I get my measurements, I won't know for sure. I probably should have done that ahead of time, but because of the kerfuffle with my computer, I didn't have time to do it. So for that, I apologize. Normally, I like to be a little more organized. So we've got a good start for a dagger. Let's look around here. Yeah, we'll do. It's not exactly what I had in mind. So I'm going to grab the faces now. I'm going to grab, whoops. Yeah. Oh, okay. I need crossing. There we go. I'm going to grab those faces. And I know that I'm going to want a little extra detail in here. Now I could back up and add it in like I did when I laid down the box and started dividing it up. But there's another tool I can use. I'm going to use my slice plane, and we're going to rotate it in place. Is my snap on? My snap is on. So I'm just going to bing, 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 dink, rotate it into place. And you know what? That's not a bad spot. If it's not the spot I want, actually, let's see, to do what I want, so I want those to come in. So I'm going to put it there. I'm going to hit slice, and it's going to add a section there. You can see a little red line there. And then I'm going to come back to here. I'm going to go ahead and slice it again. Then I'm going to turn that plane off, come back over here to the vertices, and as you can see, now I've got some extra vertices to play with. And I'm going to drag those up because I kind of want this to kind of have a little bit of a bevel in there. I might have to pull this back just a little bit more. I may not have needed that. That might have been unnecessary. Let's see. Let's go ahead and narrow these a little bit. And if I get quiet or if I get hard to hear, just kind of let me know, and I will try to speak up. Projecting has never been my issue. Being loud and obnoxious has always been my issue. I'm really good at that part. Alrighty. I think those need to be there. And I'm just going for a silhouette right now. I'm trying to figure out what I want this to look like. I've also got to be careful because if I get things too small, they'll print, they'll be fragile, they'll break. And this could be a point where this blade could break after it's printed. Resin is only so strong. So I'm just kind of playing around with silhouettes right now. And I might bring these in just a little bit. I know I need to exaggerate it because of... Actually, no, I need to leave those alone because I want to put that circle there. So I'm going to go ahead and move my reference real fast. I'm going to unfreeze all. And then I'm going to grab this object and I'm just going to move it forward. I want to make sure I have enough room, at least in the tip of this blade, to put a magnet. And I think that's pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and freeze that again so we can't manipulate it. And then I'm going to take this whole object, whoops, take this whole object, I'm going to bring up the slice plane again, rotate it back down to where it was. Oops. Come on. There we go. And I'm going to drag it, roughly about there. Let's see. Let's go ahead and hit slice. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to come back to the vertices. Boy, I was a little close. So we're just going to grab these guys. I want a little bit of room. Actually, you know, that won't be too bad. So now I can start making the bevel of the blade. And I'm going to do that, hopefully. I'm going to play around here. I'm just kind of messing around. I'm going to use a target weld. And I'm going to say, hey, you be a part of that. And hey, you be a part of that. And let's do the same here. And here, what I'm doing is I'm welding those vertices together and get rid of polygons. So that's why I think these may not have been necessary. But we're just going to play around, see what I come up with. I never know what I'm doing until I do it. And it's not bad, it's not great, it's not bad. What happens when I do this? Is this going to be what I want? Meh, meh, meh. Let's see. So I don't always get it right the first time, but you know, you kind of play around with it, get a look for things. Hey, you made it though. That's all that matters, Sam. Welcome to the stream. We have four viewers. Careful, folks. This might go to my head. I might get an ego. Nah. All right. So it's not bad, not great, not bad. What I think I want to do is I'm going to go ahead. Kind of looks like a bomb in this view. I'm going to grab these faces here. Yeah, these faces here. Actually, you know what? Let's not do it that way. Let's get fancy. Let's turn that off. Let's go back to here. And then I'm going to use a thing called cut. And hopefully I can go from this vertex to that vertex, and it created a vertex for me. So I can turn that off. And now, I hope, I'm going to target weld this guy to that guy. Yeah, that works. I'm not so keen on these guys back here, though. I'm not sure what I want, but I think we're going to grab this vertex. Whoops, nope. We're going to grab this vertex. Nah, don't move until I tell you to. Really? We're just going to play this game, huh? All right, let's try this again. Nope. Just in case. Okay. Just want to make sure I didn't accidentally create vertices, because I see, like that. Went nope. Okay, let's try that again. Control, not shift. Shift is the I want to make things button. Let's see how this looks. Still looks like a bomb. But like I said, I'm making this up as we go. It's kind of half the fun. Are you guys, do you guys enjoy seeing the 3D work? Or do you prefer the 2D work? I know some of you don't mind, you like seeing both, but I always like to see what people like and enjoy. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing some more welding. I'm going to start working on the pommel. I have an idea for the pommel, but I don't know if I can pull it off. First, I'm just trying to get an idea of how the blade is going to look. Yeah, it's not horrible. Like I said, it's not great, but it's not horrible. Turn off my target weld. And I'm going to start playing around with that silhouette a little bit. See what I like, what I don't like. Throwing dagger. 3D is more dynamic. I always have been curious about 3D work. So let's say let's start here. Lori says I like both, but I think 3D is more dynamic. Sam says he loves the 3D work, but he's easy. He'll watch anything. And then Amy says I have always been curious. I got my camera in the way about 3D work, so this is fun and relaxing. It is, and I am fortunate enough that I can kind of doodle in 3D, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of doodling. So I'm not sure what I want. Yeah, you can really make a mess of things, by the way. If you're not paying attention, you got to kind of get your 3D goggles here. All right, so it looks like more like a bomb than anything else. but it's a place to start. And as long as you have a place to start, you can work with it. So we're going to do that, and I think I want this to be more up and down. This is for printing reasons why I'm doing this. No real, I don't know, I kind of like, that's a little more cartoony. Let's do that. You know me, I like the cartoon. Alrighty. So now how the heck are we going to get a pommel in this? I am glad you asked. I have no idea. Whoop. It looks like a rocket. Yes, it does. And I have been known to make a rocket here and there. But now we're going to hopefully get a little more pommel out of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, now I'm thinking about how I'm going to do this. I think I'm just going to cut again. These cuts don't have to be spot on. And I'll just put one there. And I can true it up here in a different way. So, yeah, see, you see those vertices are misaligned. And that's okay. Grab that one, we'll bring it into alignment. And the distance of these seem a little, and I don't have to like be uber accurate, because you can see as I zoom in, those are just not on top of each other the way they should. Here, a little closer, but the accuracy is not going to be that detailed when these go to the printer. The printer will be hard pressed to print this, and that's my concern. I might elongate these just a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to grab this and this. Whoops. This and this. Got to use the right thing. Ooh, those are not centered. Well, be that way. Who's off? Doesn't matter. We are going to extrude. Where's my extrude button? There's my extrude button. We're going to go, hey, we have a handle. We have a start of a handle. All right. So we're going to do that. And now I'm going to get out. Whoop, 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 whoop. Why not build half and then mirror it? Well, that would definitely be a way to do it, and then I would know both sides are perfectly aligned, and I may end up doing that. So, hi Paul, by the way. What Paul is suggesting, and it's not a bad idea, now that I'm up and running, is to go ahead and do something like this. Go ahead and delete half of the model so that whatever I do, it can be mirrored. Hey! And it will always be perfect. Now the reason I'm not doing that at the moment is because I want to build the pommel real quick, and it's a little bit easier for me anyway to build it out like this. Then I can divide it up, mirror it, and weld it back together. So let's go ahead and let's use Bevel. Let's see if Bevel will do what I want it to do. Let's do to there. Oh, is Bevel not working? Hang on. Did I grab the wrong thing? Bevel, thank you. Whoops, let's bring it out first. And then let's bevel it a little bit. Alrighty. And we're going to add to that, and we're going to bring it, whoops, in, and then make it a little bit longer, and that'll be the start. There we go. And then click OK. Yeah, do you recognize this old version of the software? This is 2012. Alright, and I can leave it all boxy like this. It'll be fine, but I'm not gonna. So, I think we're going to play around with the silhouette a little bit more. I think these guys need to come down just a hair. I think this only needs to come down about half. Whoops. The silhouette is the most important thing on any project like this, especially since I'm not going to be using a lot of polygons. So we have to make sure that the silhouette is really what we want it to be. So I'm going to play around with some things here, just kind of get a feel. But for the most part, that's all I'm doing is pushing and pulling the silhouette so that this reads, how the heck did that get out of alignment? More like a dagger. So I'm going to grab well, let's see. I'm going to grab this one. And I'm mousing all this. I don't have my Logitech, my Space Pilot, not Logitech, 3D Logic, Space Pilot, which makes life so much easier. Come on, work with me here. Oops, apparently I grabbed the wrong thing. Do you see that? Something on the inside moved, not the thing I wanted. So we'll just go back in here. I should probably turn back face culling. Whoop, I missed one. Is there two there? I bet you there's two there, and that was not cool. Let's see. How many do I have selected? I don't have that panel open, but I bet you there's two there, so we're just going to go collapse. There we go. If you're doing things for a game, something like that could cause your program to crash, and programmers get upset and go, why did it break? Alright, now this is doing something I don't like. I'm going to turn this face. You can barely see it. This one's going from here to here, but this one's going from here to here, and it creates a crease there, and I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is we're going to, oops, that's shrink, grow, remove split, turn this edge so that it does something a little more predictable. You haven't touched Max since '98. Well now, I'm sorry. You remember the old fight between Maya and Max? Max won because they bought them. Lightwave was amazing. The lighting package right out of the box for Lightwave was amazing, and it has some very fun tools in terms of building stuff. I find the differences between Maya and Max is Max works predominantly, if I remember correctly, Max works predominantly on the face level, whereas Maya likes doing things on the edge level. I believe. I could be very wrong, and I'm sure I'll get corrected in the chat by other people, even if we continue our own little back and forth. All right, so technically, that's a Dagger. I could say done because I'm going to 3D print this, and it'll be, you know, hollowed out here once I make a hole for that. I'm going to not boolean. Boolean is the devil. I'm going to delete those faces, and then I'll do something with this object and I'll flip the faces and flip it inside out and then weld it into place. But I think for what I need, something really simple for my game is that, but you know what, I don't like. So now I can do what Paul suggests and show you how that is, because it's all about showing different ideas and techniques. I'm going to go ahead and delete half the Dagger, and there's no real reason to right now, but I am wanting to piddle with some ideas, and it's just easy to do it on one side and then the other. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude this out, and then I'm going to, what's the better way to do this? I want to keep those on that plane. So let's go ahead and let's doodle. I'm going to collapse these guys just to see what they look like, and then I'm going to put this on this plane. I'm going to say, hey, vertice, you need to be on 0. There we go. And then I'm going to pull it out like that. Maya has great face tools, yes. The difference for me is Maya's animation tools are way, well, the bone systems in Maya has always been better than Max. I am a character studio guy because it's easy, but it's not always the best system, especially when you want to plant a foot or a hand in midair and just kind of, you know, do one of these. Max tends to float around a little bit, and you have to really beat those keyframes into place and work on the Beziers, but Maya is much superior and much better tool for that. I would 100% agree, but not in public. Oh wait, this is public. Never mind. I'm going to play around with the silhouette of this pommel just a little bit. And this is not exactly rocket science what I'm doing here. This is probably I'm not sure if I want to point that sharp on something I'm going to print for kids to play around with. So I'm going to back up here a little bit. And instead of collapsing those vertices like that, I want to go ahead and keep a little bit of a blunt edge there. So I'm going to just keep the box there. I'm going to go ahead and I think I can do that with this. Will it keep it where I want it, or is it going to flatten it? Let's find out. 0. Oh, of course it averages it, so duh. All right. I like this better. This way people don't get hurt with them. That said, for personal work, I'm transitioning to Blender. Blender's come a long way. Remember when it was called Rhino? Great tool set, and the things you can do with their grease pencil are... Uh-oh. Dude, hook me up. I want to see you do some of the work. I want to see this grease pencil thing, or at least send me some examples. That sounds interesting. I'm always willing to learn new tools, and let's face it, this 2012 has issues, which I tried to illustrate in my last live stream, but you guys couldn't see it, but I could see it. If you use the help menu, it will basically burn whatever's underneath that menu to your screen until you turn off the program. But in OBS, which is what you guys are seeing, you don't see that. It's kind of like me opening up this move panel, which I see, and I'm moving all around, but you don't see it. So same effect. But yes, please. Plus, I get to see some of your work, so double duty here. Anyway, okay, so instead of having nice sharp pointies, I think this is a better look, and I feel better not having a large pointy object for people to, let's face it, kids will poke you with anything sharp if they think it'll get a reaction. They'll go poke and laugh as you go, ow. So let's try to avoid giving them something like that to play with. I am going to mess around with this. So just by moving these vertices, especially from the top-down view, you can see how it changes this object a little bit. And I don't know. So I'm going to change this to edge and just move these along the edge here. I think I like that better. Let's go back to normal. Play around. Whoops. Not what I want. No, not what I wanted. Here. Okay, why are we doing this? I turned it off. Edge. Oh, none. Haha, no constraints. Duh, I hit the wrong button. Just kind of playing around with the look and the feel. And I think that's a better profile ultimately. So, real simple geometry. Truth. The heathens, yes. Kids will poke you with anything sharp if they think it's funny. Speaking of, let's see if I can... I don't like the look of that, so no. Alright, I might play around with this a little bit, so it's a little more Pommel-esque. And I don't like how square that is. Now, the blade's going to be square, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean the pommel has to be square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these edges and I'm going to chamfer them just a little bit. Yes, dink, dink. I don't think I need to grab that one. So, yes. So we're going to grab the chamfer tool, again, not rocket science, and just kind of whoop-doot-doot. Add a little bevel. And I'm going to have to clean up those vertices. Though, oh, that just makes my little game heart crawl. Yeah, having that sitting there like that makes me crawl. So we're going to target weld this. Is that a good spot for it? Yeah, it's good enough. So that's a good spot for that. Yeah. Now I can round this even more by going back, grabbing those, and saying chamfer again. I've got my snap on. Ooh, we can make a mess, huh? But if I do it like that, see how much more round that is now? And that does translate when I print it, so we'll probably keep that. But again, makes my skin crawl. So we're going to target weld all this to here. And I know it doesn't matter. This is just getting 3D printed. But it's good practice. Should always work as clean as possible. So I don't need too much rounding. That's enough. And I think I'm going to leave everything else kind of square-ish. Just trying to decide. Okay, I'm also getting some wild smoothing here. Let's grab this whole object, and I'm going to turn smoothing groups off because the 3D printer doesn't see these and doesn't try to mimic them. So I want to see all the facets. Now you can see those edges, like that one right there. I think that one needs to be turned. And for no other reason, where's my turn? There, weld. Create, there it is. For no other reason, it's just personal preference on my part. Maybe, I don't know. It won't affect the print whatsoever. It's just me being me and being a little animator / model builder who spent way too much time working on PlayStation games. Thanks for the watch. Have to deal with doctors and nurses. Well, you get better and you do what they say. Okay? I want to see you this season out there on the fairgrounds. All right. Love you. You get better. Okay, I'm going to finish this thing up. I feel like, I don't know. This section here bothers me. And I'm not sure what I want to do with it. I want to eliminate it altogether. The idea was, you know, the daggers will have this nice little hook here, but it's not going to translate in this case. And I don't want to make it too weird. So, figure it out here. Because what I'm going to do now, just to kind of show, so I'm going to take this object, we're going to mirror it with our handy dandy mirror. Where's my handy dandy mirror tool? There it is. We're going to make a copy. We're going to say Ote, and we're going to take, yeah, it got weird. We'll fix that. We're going to say you need to be, and this is why I work on 0, 0, because it flipped cleanly along this line as one of the main reasons to do it. So now I'm going to attach this object to it. I'm going to grab all of these vertices down the center because it's still two separate pieces. The printer does not like that. It's as bad as early PlayStation games when you have intersecting geometry or geometry that's not connected. It creates holes and tears, and in this case this will be a failed print. So a lot of the same rules that I used as a developer I have to use when 3D printing. Good watertight, clean geometry. Now, some printers are good enough that you can have like a box going through an object, whereas I would build a box, and weld these pieces together so that it was hollow on the inside and not having geometry on the inside faces. This is sometimes in older games you'll see flickering, you'll see vertices flickering. Actually, you'll see a little bit of that when I do this here. You see that effect there where that circle is. That sometimes is the result of having intersecting geometry. In this case, I have faces that are occupying the same spot. The renderer in Max is smart enough to know not to draw intersecting geometry most of the time and won't do this, but in older games that's the effect you would get. So I've grabbed all of these vertices, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to go weld. Let's double check here. I have 42 vertices. Going to weld it. We lose 12. Good enough for now. So we have a dagger. It's going to save often. I have autosave on, but save often because good grief. See, that's why right there. Ooh, hey, that didn't do it. Nice. I'm going to unhide everything just so I can see this in comparison. Unhide all. Ooh, we got things in the way. I'm going to hide this piece, hide that, and we're going to hide this sword so that we can see. So that is very dagger sized. I was afraid I was going to overscale my pieces, but they're about the height of a shield. That's not bad. I like that. So I'm going to undo, go back until everything was hidden, and now I'm gonna make the hole for the magnet. Now while I'm here though, let's see if there's any other spots for the magnet. Let's unhide, unfreeze all, and let's see if I can get another magnet in here. Not without doing some modifications. I don't need another magnet in here. It just would make me feel better because these are going to be such small pieces. But, okay, we'll just assume a single magnet. So we're going to take this object, go back to the face level, and I'm going to select these faces right here and just delete them. Then I'm going to take this object, I'm going to apply a modifier on it so I can select its face, and we're going to delete that. Then we're going to grab the whole object itself, and we are going to flip its faces inside out. Now it's not going to look here, but in reality the faces on the outside here shouldn't be drawn. It's just the way Max is rendering everything. So these are the actual faces, and so now I'm going to take this object and I'm going to attach, there it is, attach that object to it. So that is the hole that the magnets will occupy. And I could cap this. I have found, whoops, I have found that cap does not always work. So what we're going to do is we're going to bridge. Now I'm going to take my edge tool, I'm going to grab my bridge, and I'm going to say, hey, you to you. Whoops, I'm not at the right angle. Hang on just a second here. There we go. We're going to bridge you to you. Ooh, did not like that for some reason. Why did it not like that? I think it reflipped my object. So let's see. Let's grab that. Let's flip it again. And let's see what happens when I bridge. I think it's just going to get all funky on me. To you. Yeah, there we go. So it's happy now. And to you. Whoops. Curious, and it has probably a lot more to do. Yeah. So that has a lot more to do with the original object when I've mirrored it. So here's my solution. I am going to reset the X form on this object. That's a bunch of gobbledygook to most of you. I think the only person who would even know what I'm talking about is Paul. I'm going to hit a modifier. I think it's a modifier. I don't have to do it anymore. Yeah, reset X form on that object, hopefully. And then I'm going to collapse the stack, which is one of the more powerful features of 3D Studio Max. Now I'm hoping that fixed my mirrored issue, and a lot of that is because I had this cut in half, I flipped it, welded it together, and I should have reset X form at that point. I didn't. It's basically literally what it says. I'm resetting it. I'm fixing all the weirdness in it in theory. And then when I collapse the stack, it basically cemented that change forever within the object. It may have worked, may not have worked. We're about to find out. Everything looks okay. So let's find out what happened. The easiest way is to come back over here and do what I was just trying to do with the bridge tool, which was to take you to there. Perfect, that's expected. Here's the one that we're worried about. Still flipped. First world problems, huh? This is why I didn't want to mirror it. Because Mac sucks sometimes. So, let's see. Let's grab this object here. Let's undo that change. Let's grab this. Why are you being weird? I need to show normals at some point, but let's flip it again. That's what it should look like. See how much brighter the center got versus these? That's what it should look like. So let's see. I bet you if I were to draw that, this one would be correct and this one would be weird. And then I'm just going to have to get in there and just mess with things. Do it by hand. Let's see if we can get the bridge tool to work real quick. Let's see if this one's messed up. Yep, see that one's messed up now, and I bet you the other one is going to be correct. Yeah. Well, let's see what I can do here. Let's grab you. Nope. That's not going to work. I'm trying to find the easiest way through this. Let's see. Don't you love it when I get stumped and kerfuffled? Trying to figure out the best way to approach this mess. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this object. I'm going to detach it. There's my detach. We're going to turn it into another object. Aha! Look at that. I should not be able to do that. That should select the whole thing. So I am betting, remember how we went from 42 vertices to 30? Is I don't think it welded this thing correctly. So my weld tolerances are not changing anything. So I'm going to go through here. Thank goodness this is those are 2 vertices right there. That should not be like that. Let's collapse those. Let's take a look at this one. Is this 2? Yep, 2 vertices there. So basically, when I welded this, it did not weld correctly. And that says there's 4 vertices. What did I grab? Oh man, I didn't grab just what I want. Where's my back face culling? Oh well. Let's just be careful and just grab what we want. There's 2 vertices there. Let's collapse. 2 vertices. And I'm seeing that right here. It says 2 vertices right there. So I'm collapsing. Basically, I'm just going to go down the line and collapse this. I'm sure there's easier ways to do this. I'm old and I like things to be convoluted and tedious. So that's just the way it's going to be right now. That's 3 vertices. I don't believe that. Now it's 4. I suspect I've grabbed, yeah, something like that. So let's grab you. That's 2, collapse. Let's grab these 2 there, collapse. When I start only seeing 1 when I do this, that's when I get excited. Collapse, but it's tedious. But this is also experience. I don't know how many times, why 3? I've had to do this while building a model for a game. Why is there 3 there? Oh, that's why. Haha, the angle. So this should only, now it says 4. Stop it. Alright, fine. Want to act like that? I really just need to turn my back face culling on. But I'm being lazy. I don't remember where it is. I don't get to work in this piece of software as often as I would like. And so I forgot where certain things are. And ignore back facing. There we go. That's what I want. Well, there's 2 there. So let's collapse that. And let's go ahead and flip this back over, which is what it wants anyway. And let's just double check and make sure all these vertices are 3. Really? 3? Happy. I'm telling you, just no. There we go. I'm just going to weld this thing slowly by hand, apparently. Wow, just wow. What did you weld? Seriously. What are those tolerances set to? Oh my goodness. Just sitting here slowly collapsing vertices. Universes are being destroyed. If you think about it. Had a friend who was a mathematical solipsist, or geometry. Using geometry based on solipsism, they could prove that you did not exist. Objects, such as the cylinders and everything that I make up here, are made up of lines. Lines are made up of individual points. Those points are vertices, which is what I'm grabbing here. A vertice has no height, weight, depth, and therefore does not really exist. Therefore, neither do you. And I was like, that's an interesting thought, but I can still poke you in the eye. So apparently I do exist. All right, let's grab you. 2. I don't think it collapsed anything of note. I mean, I'm grabbing 2, 3 vertices a pop. Yeah, see, I'm not supposed to be able to do that. So let's do this. Haha, can't get me now. Collapse. Collapse. Oh, that one refuses to collapse. Why will you not collapse? Okay, we'll come back to you. Will you collapse? You will collapse. How about you? Collapse. But you don't wanna. Why? Why do you not want to collapse? It says I have 2 vertices right there. So if I select 1, there we go. Then we're going to target weld you. Oh, something does not smell well in Denmark. Why? What is going on here? Why do you not want to weld together? Well, I have another fix for that. Oh ho! Haha, now I know what the problem is. Let's grab that, and let's flip them. Whoops, something got selected I didn't want. Want you? Oh. Interesting. It's decided this whole section here needs to be flipped. Interesting. It's a whole section here that's just not happy. So that's why we're having issues. Is when I flipped it, it just didn't want to flip the poly. So we're gonna fix it. I guess I could hit normalize. So now flip. I don't know if I got anything selected. But you know what? Let's just grab all of that. Okay, so that's correct. Those are not. Ha! Well, I'm going to be busy. There we go. How about you? You good? That was, yeah, crossing. So these must not be right. Sigh. All right. Well, now I've found out the problem. Let's see if I can just make this easy. So those are all the ones that they get are not red are the ones that are problems. For some reason. Oh, this is supposed to have been a fun, simple little project, but no. All right, I blame Paul. All right, I'm going to do target weld this to this now. Okay, that works. I do need to get in here and fix all these flip faces, but it's not necessary for our little broadcast today. I am going to go a few minutes over. So the next steps, now that I've troubleshot and figured out that my mirrored side just didn't, reset X-Form did not fix it. I am going to go ahead and attach this back here, and now I should be able to bridge this the way I intended to by adding these faces in here. Let's go ahead and, whoops, we're just going to go target. And I can bridge at the face level. I just like working with edges. It just helps me keep track of things. Please work. Yay! All right, that's what I was intending on doing. And it looks like I've got some faces to mess with here. So what I can do now is I can grab, hopefully, hopefully. No, I'm not. No bridge. Stop it. Grab that. And that shows me I've got all kinds of problems because it should not have grabbed these lines up here. So, that's all right. I got this thing. We're going to bridge it manually. Hopefully. Nope. Look at that. See, it's flipped there. And let's do that one. That one's okay. So this side's okay. So I'm going to grab, hopefully, whoops, turn bridge off. Grab that. That looks good. And I can cap that. Boom. But I have some work to do before I can do that on the other side. Because like I said, we have some flipped faces. Don't know why. That's better. How about you? Let's grab just object level. That needs to be flipped, and I could probably spend all day sitting here trying to flip these things back. And that would bore the crap out of you guys. So we are coming up onto the hour. You get to watch me flail around like a mullet out of water. But the end result is, for now, I do have to clean it up so it'll actually work, is that we have a dagger. Let's go ahead and zoom out here. That we can use in our 3D printer. I'm doing a resin printing. At this scale, I don't think an SLA printer will work. We're going to unhide all, almost all. We're going to hide that. And I like the sword, but we're going to hide it because it's in the way, and we like that. But we're going to hide it because it's in the way. So, this is a new weapon for battle badges. And when I clean it up, hopefully this icon will be usable in game. Hopefully it won't be too small. It's my biggest fear. It might be too small or easily lost. Small parts like these tend to be. But we're over. We did manage to get this far. Thank you for the journey. I know it's kind of like watching me up here going, oh, no, but meh, stuff happens more often than I would like. I spent a lot of time trying to correct little issues like that, but I'm happy with the silhouette. I think the area I was fussing on is going to be so small it may not even read. So I may have to do some things with this so that it reads a little bit more. But this over-exaggerated dagger shape is kind of where I was wanting to go. I'm just concerned it might be too small. We shall see. I might have to make it a little bit bigger. The rogues get 2 of these, so we shall see. But thank you very much for joining me on this rather flustering 10th live stream. We're up to 10. I think I'm actually at 11 or 12, and I missed a couple in there, but early days and all that. We're calling this officially number 10. I appreciate each and every one of you joining me on this journey of silliness. I'm glad that I was entertaining and educational for you guys. We got a little banter in there. I got to learn that there's this really cool tool in Blender that I really need to see called Grease Pencil. And Paul is going to show it to me. Just an excuse to see his current work. Again, thank you very much. I need you all to know that you are loved. You are worthy of that love. Don't beat yourself up. Okay? It's hard out there. We don't need to put more pressures on ourselves. Okay? And always remember, I will always love you guys, if nothing else. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this live stream. Feel free to reach out to me later. Thank you very much, Sam. I look forward to seeing everybody's comments later on this live stream. If you want to buy the artist a coffee, you can support me by buymeacoffee.com/chainreaction. All my art is fueled by caffeine thrown into the art furnace. And every drop is precious. Alright guys, I love you. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next week at the same time. Take care, guys.